So for my paper in this class, I chose to write about how the media chose to portray Casey Anthony in her trial. So one of the big things with this case was the pre-trial publicity it received. So this case, a 2-year-old daughter is found, goes missing and then is found dead. So there was a lot of emotional information that was given by the media, and most of this was about Casey Anthony. So the media chose to share stories of her personal life, and they attacked her character and portrayed her as a bad mom, a liar, and a partier. So the media made the public believe that she was a bad person who had to be responsible for killing her daughter. So the way that they chose to portray her, she was shown as a partier, a liar, and a bad mom. The media focused on all the lies that she had told, which of course are important to the case, but they really hyped it up and made it seem as if since she did lie about some things, that she had to be guilty of murder. So Casey Anthony was charged with lying to police. She told them that she had talked on the phone to Kaylee days before the day after she had gone missing, which was not true. She lied and told them that she worked at Universal Orlando Studios and that 2 of her coworkers had met Kaylee, loved Kaylee, and that they knew she had gone missing, which is not true. She didn't know those people and she didn't work there. And she also told them that her nanny is the one that had kidnapped her, and that's why she was missing. The media also chose to show images of her partying at clubs, out with her boyfriend. She got a tattoo during the disappearance of her daughter that said Bella Vita, or Beautiful Life. And the media ran with these things and showed it off as that she was a bad mom. She, didn't care that her daughter was missing. Obviously, she's out drinking, partying, getting tattoos. And this stuff really wasn't relevant to the case. Just because somebody is out doing these things or is getting tattoos doesn't necessarily mean that they are responsible for murder. So some examples that I found were of just the language that the media used and the images that they showed. So this is an example of a picture that is in a newspaper article, and it is showing her out at a club. And this right here says she showed no signs of distress, anxiety, or depression, or failed to mention that her daughter was missing. So it just kind of goes to show that they really portrayed her in a negative light, which made it hard for her to have a fair trial. This is another picture that was taken from her Facebook page of her out drinking. And they really went with the idea that, she is a bad person, so of course she has to be guilty. And then another example I found, this is an article from the New York Times that I use as one of my sources. This right here even just starts off with the language they use. Casey Anthony, the young mother whose seeming heartlessness at the disappearance of her daughter transfixed America for 3 years, was found not guilty on Tuesday of killing the girl Kaylee Marie. So, even after the verdict was given, the media still couldn't accept the fact that she was innocent. So even just like language in this article, calling her seemingly heartlessness, gave off the idea that she really was careless and that she was a bad mother, because not only did she fail to report her daughter missing for 31 days, she didn't even care that, she was gone. She was out partying and doing all this. And it just kind of goes to show that, it really can have a big impact. So when the verdict came out, many believed from, the very first day that she was guilty, and it's pretty much because of the way the media played her out to be. Showing her as someone who's partying and lying to the cops means that she has to be guilty. And since we are a very visual media dominant society, these kind of trials have a huge impact on society. And so the media gets to pick and choose what they show to viewers, which affects, those watching how they see things. Based off of what the media had showed the public, they immediately thought that she was a bad person and she was responsible for killing her daughter. So when the verdict came out that she was innocent, people couldn't believe it. They were blown away at the fact that, she could get away with this. And it's because the language and the way the media covered it and the information that they chose to give and the way that they presented it was so negative toward her that it almost seemed like she had to be guilty. And it really made it fair for her to made it hard for her to have a fair trial because everyone was against her from the beginning. So basically, in conclusion, the media basically gets to choose, what they show and how they do it, and it really has an impact on society and the criminal justice system itself because people began, to see the system as flawed because how can you let someone get away with killing their daughter? We've seen all this on TV. We've seen that she's out partying, getting tattoos, living with her boyfriend, and could care less that her daughter is dead. And the media and the pre-trial publicity, in cases like this especially, really can negatively impact a trial and the suspect. They damaged her character and said all these awful things, and now she is innocent and a free woman living in today's society and still has all these people wondering how she's in the free world and don't think that she should be. So this is a prime example of why the media needs to stay biased and be careful with the language that they use, because in this case specifically, they use language that was incriminating to someone, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that because that, makes people think right away that they're guilty when in fact that they're not. So you can't use incriminating language to show someone as guilty because in this case, she wasn't.